you ready to be wowed? Well, we really were wowed, and we wanted to share this with you so that you can perhaps enjoy it as much as we did.
Yeah, last year we stayed in a number of harvest hosts, about 12. We stayed in a few as well this year as we started our trip west. This one was just outstanding, and what's really interesting about it is actually a wedding venue, and we'll show you more of that. But, you know, we thought, well, we can probably describe this to you and how it is. Obviously, the video will show some of that. But we thought, who better to describe this harvest host to you than
Traci Johnson,
the owner, one of the owners, Traci and Kurt Johnson of the Silver Knot. So take it away, Traci. So you'll notice the backdrop looks a little bit similar to the last video that we did. I'm not sure it's the last video that's out, but the video about our top 10 RV lessons learned since we had our 1-year NOM anniversary. And I know one of the things I forgot to do, I know we mentioned your place, but we didn't do it early enough, and my apologies for that. We're actually sitting here with one of the owners, the wife, and Kurt is around someplace, but Kurt and Traci Johnson, the owners of Silver Knot, and we've got to know them pretty well. It's been just a fabulous stay here. So this is a little bit different because, you know, most of our videos are about RV things, and whether it's, you know, we're hiking or whether we're visiting some places. If you remember, we'll post a link up here. We did a 2021 Harvest Host review last year of all the Harvest Hosts that we stayed at, and it was great. But we felt like, first off, since we've been here so many times, and second off, since it's such a great place, that we wanted to spend more of a sort of a, you know, very focused video on this particular place.
Thank you.
So Traci has been great, been a gracious host, and why don't you tell us about the Silver Knot?
This is my second wedding venue. We started at Sky Ridge 10 years ago, turned a 19-stall horse barn into a wedding venue. It's been super popular. We've had great events there, and this place up here is 26 acres, just to the east of my big ranch, and it wasn't for sale, but I made a persistent call, purchased it. My husband said, "What are you going to do with that?" I said, "Well, let's do 2 wedding venues. If we're going to work every weekend, let's double up and play in the winter." So that was pretty much our big plan, and we gutted the place and took down an old 1985 single wide camo painted trailer and punched in a road, put the big venue in, and built from there, and it's been a great adventure. We've met fabulous people and lots of weddings.
So you said 26 acres is not the big ranch. You actually have a bigger.
Yeah, the bigger one is, it will hold 2.5 times this venue. This one is designed for like 150.
Okay.
We've had 180, but it's kind of squishy and a little noisy. So unless they're willing to like come outside and spread out a little bit more, we try to focus the under 150. And this one's also designed so that we can have, you know, Aunt Sarah and Uncle Bob can spend the night here. They can pull in one of our pull-throughs, camp for the evening, not worry about driving home. The venue still shuts down at a certain time, but they can go over to their campers and stay on property here.
It's great because it's really kind of interesting. We found this sort of by accident, well, through the Harvest Host location. I remember having the first conversation with Traci when we tried to reserve the place, and she said, "Well, you know, do you realize this is a wedding venue?" And I wasn't sure how to take that. And I said, "Well, if there's a wedding the night before, we get in, we'll be glad to help and clean up." So it's been a great stay. So again, back to sort of the Harvest Host aspect of this is that there's 15 sites.
There is, yes. So we are not a campground. We don't offer any other amenities. We basically are a great parking lot. I think we're a couple steps up from a Cracker Barrel or a Walmart, and we really enjoy meeting all of our couples that come up here to enjoy the mountains and the views. We've had them from all over the place, and our first year in 2.5 months we had 316 RVs that came up here, which was crazy. My neighbor Neil on the golf course has been a huge part of this little adventure, because like 3 years ago, he said, well, if you're going to do 2 wedding venues, Trace, I might as well put in a golf course for everybody to play on. So he did. And he mows like an absolute maniac.
Yeah.
And he's happy as a clam. He parks my guests, makes my life easy. He's been a real big part of this.
And the good news is you don't even have to bring your own golf clubs, because he's got loose.
People
golf
just
clubs
keep
here.
donating them. Yeah. And we have balls and clubs, and he's got a little donation box for his gas donation, but it works out really well.
That's great, great. So I guess one thing that's really fascinating about this, a lot of fascinating things, is that we were on our way to Glacier, and if you're on your way to Glacier, this is a natural stop. I mean, it's like I would absolutely build in an additional day or so to stop here and see this venue. One is the next day's drive is fairly short. It's
very short.
About 70 miles or so. You go around a beautiful part of Flathead Lake, but just the view here of the Mission Mountains behind us is just amazing. And
they're pretty spectacular with no crowds.
With no crowds, and very quiet at night. And I think we got some video last night of the deer that were just coming back on your neighbor's property. So that was awesome. So this is in the town of Ronan, Montana, like I said, just about 70 miles or so south of. We stayed in Columbia Falls, but maybe that area, West Glacier, whatnot. So what about Ronan? Because you weren't a resident of Ronan. You were from some.
We're from Polson, Flathead Lake. We say we went south for the winter, but it's only 15 miles, so we really never made it very far. This is a small, tight ranching, farming community. It's just a great place to be. We've been comfortable here our whole lives, raised our kids here. My children are all involved with businesses that we've had. My husband was a cabinet maker, and I'm a kitchen designer for 40 years. We sold that to our middle son and his wife, and then my other 2 kids help with this venue and are very active in making their living doing what we're doing right now.
Sure. And we kind of, for those of you that hike, we actually looked this morning to see what kind of hikes were available back in the Mission Mountains.
Beautiful hikes. So there's Sports Lake, there's Terrace Lakes, there's Moman Lakes. You head west and go to the river. It's stunning. Beautiful hiking back in there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Flathead Lake. Sure. You can't beat the lake.
No, it's actually beautiful. In fact, because we got a chance to see Lake McDonald and St. Mary's Lake and then Whitefish Lake, and Flathead is just amazing. It's
Flathead Lake is like 29 miles long, so it's a beautiful, freshwater, clean lake.
Yeah. The other thing is you're close enough here if you wanted to, is that the cherry farms that are up on the east side. I'm not sure if they're on the west side as well, but at least on the
mostly
east side.
On the east side, up on Highway 35.
Yeah, tons of cherry farms. So
and this is peak season right now.
Right. Unfortunately, Pam is not going to be able to go to the cherry farm.
Pam.
But we'll next time we come through, we'll absolutely do that. So again, fascinating that this started as a wedding venue, both this one and your other one, but you're a Harvest Host as well. So why did you decide that Harvest Host was a program you wanted to delve into?
Well, it's kind of interesting. In 2020, we lost about 75-80% of our weddings due to COVID, and we were going to buy a membership to take our coach and see these Harvest Host places because it sounded very intriguing. I want to stay at a winery and a brewery and an alpaca farm. Sounds like a great way to travel. And then I thought, well, shoot, maybe I could do that. And so I reached out to them, and within 3 hours, they sent me an email saying, welcome, Traci and the Silver Knot, to our newest host location. And I'm like, looks like I'm doing this. So people called within a couple days, and in our first week, we had like 6 RVers that came up. My husband said, congratulations, babe, you're very successful at not making any money. And I said, okay, so I'm going to put in a little store. So we added our little store, and my daughter-in-law right down the road, who's involved with the weddings also, does salsa and jams and honey. And we have another little Amish girl that makes pot holders and hats, and another gal down the road that does earrings. And you know, just anything within 150 miles or so. And my neighbor down the road does fresh blueberry muffins and
Just
scones.
had two of those this morning, as a matter of
Yes,
fact.
I took the last two for me and Neil before they got snarfed up. So yeah. But it's been a lot of fun. People have been very supportive. We do offer a power hookup if they want. Yep. That is kind of in our big pull-through spots for our wedding campers.
And that's an additional charge, which
yep,
is very
it's not
reasonable.
really a charge. Yeah. It's kind of more of a donation type thing. Yeah. Yeah, that's how we do it. And it's kind of, if you're a bigger rig and you fit in those spots, that's where we like to put you, just because you have enough room to have a picnic, you know, in front of your camper and enjoy our views, you know, that everybody's here for.
Yeah, it is great. We actually were in need of that because our inverter had failed on our RV 2 times in a row, and we were planning on boondocking in some other places, but we really needed to have power hookups. So this was,
and so they came back.
Yeah, and then we came back. Then we came back again.
And then they came back again, which is what I really honestly love about this. We have met the nicest people. They're very complimentary. I mean, it doesn't suck to be me having someone say, "This is so beautiful." I'm like, "Thank you." It's a lot of work. We maintain it all by ourselves, and yeah, I have a gal that works for me now that came and delivered bison meat to my little store last year. I've kind of adopted her, collected her. Yeah. And now she helps me mow my lawns, fix my fence, brush my horses.
So you talked about, you know, meeting some really good people, and we've met some really good people as well in the RV community. It's great. But I'm going to put you on the spot here. Tell us about, if you can think of one, your funniest RVer story besides us, because we know we probably, you know, made some mistakes.
You're right up there in the top. I love my repeat people. I mean, it means something to us to share part of someone's, you know, memory with them. I mean, just like with the weddings, you're part of their big day. They don't really forget you. And so here to have people come in and stay at the parking lots, in my parking spots that's not a campground, they enjoy it, and it's fun to connect. We've met some fabulous people. I mean, great stories. We met a couple that was on their way to the children's hospital with their daughter for major surgery, and she got to swing a club and play with the dog and chase a frog. I mean, those are great things. That's been fun.
Yeah, it's, you know, as we talked about, we've stayed in some really good Harvest hosts, and, you know, and they, you know, offer just different things. But when we first pulled in here, we met Kathy, who's one of her, I guess, one of the camp hosts.
Yeah, this is the first time we've done this.
Kathy and Bud, they've helped. And then we met Traci, and I think the first thing I said to her is, I said, you know, I'm just going to be honest with you, you know, in the scale of, you know, 1 to 10 of Harvest hosts, you're probably in the top. Who am I kidding? This is the prettiest Harvest host we've ever been to. So anyway, Traci, thank you so much
for
putting
guys.
up with Pam and I and Mika.
You guys are a rough bunch, I'll tell you.
But we appreciate it. If you are going to Glacier, or even if not, if you're leaving Glacier and you come in south,
or headed to Yellowstone.
Yellowstone.
We also have the Bison Range right here. National Bison Range is fabulous.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So Traci, thanks again. And Kurt was off camera. We met him last night.
Right?
Great guy, very busy. So thank you, and appreciate the time to spend with us.
Oh yeah, it was really great meeting you guys.
And hope that we can see you again.
Oh, hey, better come back, be my host. Seriously, it's an open invitation. I'm filling up. Pick your dates, Pam.
Well, we don't want to turn people off because they may not like us enough. But if you do like us and we become hosts, then that'll be more incentive.
There you go. Come on back. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Traci. Okay.
So just remember that not only is this a Harvest Host location, it is a wedding venue, and I can't imagine a more beautiful place in the Montana mountains. So if you're looking for a destination wedding venue, check it out. It's near Glacier National Park, and it's a beautiful place.
And if you like our channel, please consider subscribing, give us a like, and hit that bell so you can be notified of new videos coming out. Now, some more of the Silver Knot wedding venue.
Well, you're recording.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm right.
Well, we really were wowed, and we wanted to share our wow.